Welcome to Market Voice with Edmundo, Sapco, and Andres.
We're here to discuss real-time events that's pertaining to you.
Current events and their relation with the markets.
So, what we got today? What are the current events, Sapco?
Well, you know,
Hit me up.
ice is everywhere, and these guys.
Of course, it's
God,
winter.
People, oh,
You mean ice?
Yeah.
The ice story.
it's slippery.
Yeah.
It is a slippery slope. You might as well call it the dark ice or black ice.
It's coming up too. I don't know.
That nasty black ice that you never see coming, and then you slip on. You're like, oh.
Hey, there's an old saying for people who migrate to this country, and they say, once you fall on black ice, you're never coming back. You're staying here.
It's brutal. You beat yourself up for months after that.
That's right. So what's the news about
I
the
got
ice thing?
I got some clips. I have like a video, and then I
Okay.
want to touch base on what people may not know about ice, basically, right? So,
Okay.
What do you mean?
well, if I could jump right into it, right? 'Cause
Yeah, go,
people
go.
may
Isn't
not-
ice just border patrol?
No. So these guys, let's break it
Immigration,
down.
huh?
Let's break it down to
Yeah.
the fundamentals, right? Okay, so ICE it's Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Correct.
All right. The options, the operation are primarily funded by the U.S. taxpayers through federal budget allocation passed by Congress, with significant increases recently directed towards detention and removal, including $45 billion of detention in 2025. Bill that is. Now, it goes upward of, in 2025, the legislative act authorized roughly 170 billion for ICE.
But what is your point?
Yeah.
Well, it's a federally funded.
Yeah, like all the other
It's the government.
jurisdictions.
The government is federally
Yeah.
funded.
It's the highest federally funded, actually, law enforcement
Right now,
right now.
right? Because we need to clean?
More than the army?
I don't think so.
No.
So it's not the highest.
We're talking home base, domestic, right? So in that regard, domestically, the highest.
But I mean, like the DEA is mostly overseas. They don't work that much here either. FBI is all here. Military is just to protect the borders. So I'm still confused on like
Protect the borders is the border patrol.
border patrol, right?
Border-
That's why they're saying that on all these things on Minnesota, they were talking about border patrol.
Okay, but what is the point, guys?
Well, clearly, controlling the ins and outs and the comings and goings of people that don't belong here, and that means harm to the people, right?
You mean the
these
American citizens?
American citizens,
Okay.
and illegals, if you will, too, right? Because if they're here and something is happening to them, we're responsible.
I mean,
Are we?
the recent poll said like 73% of the population approves it. They wanted to continue.
The point with ICE, I mean, I think your point is if it's okay what they are doing or they are not. They're talking about the razzias, when they go and collect people here and there. When I came to this country, I don't know you folks, but when I came to this country, it was totally normal that immigration at that time, la migra, we used to call it, pick you up and take you to your country of origin.
Yep.
And we have to remember something. Beyond the point that you are in favor or against the massive deportation, we have 4 years, the Congress, 2 years with Barack Obama and 2 years with Joe Biden to pass comprehensive immigration reform. We didn't do it.
But it didn't happen. They just made
So-
false promises.
So the point here is that, and some of you are going to tell me, of course, we didn't have the Senate during Biden. We had Kamala Harris. She was the breaking vote. So we had the votes to pass comprehensive immigration reform. We didn't. So now that we are taking the streets and deporting illegal aliens. The law called them illegal aliens. I can call them undocumented, nice guys. You can call it whatever you want, but the law called them illegal aliens. So I don't see the problem. Because we had the chance to change the law, we didn't. Now we are in deporting mode.
Well, I think a lot of it is the humanity aspect of how they are apprehending people and detaining them, but the treatment behind how they are treating these people that they want to eventually deport. So detention, or detain and deport them, if you will. So I have a video that happened just the other day in LA, where literally at the federal detention center, pandemonium happened. Right? It got a little nuts. You guys want to watch it?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Look at it. All right,
Let's take a look at it.
Thank you so much, Steph. Our top story this morning, the ongoing anti-ICE demonstrations. So yesterday, hundreds of people gathered outside downtown LA for a peaceful protest. But then hours later, there were confrontations outside the federal detention center. NBC4's Camila Rambaldi tracking the overnight developments and the stern warning from the president. Camila, good morning.
Hi, Michelle. Good morning. As you just mentioned, things escalated when people showed up outside the federal detention center in downtown LA. And we have learned that at least 24 people have been detained in anti-ICE protests in LA. Let's get you straight to some video from yesterday when News Chopper 4 was overhead. It was after 5 in the afternoon yesterday when federal agents moved onto Alameda Street, pushing back protesters there, grabbing one person and leading them back towards the federal detention center. Hours later, protesters could also be seen on the steps of LA City Hall. According to the LAPD, Spring Street was closed between Temple and First because of the demonstrations taking place in the area. It was around 6 in the evening when the LAPD says that Alameda Street between Aliso and Temple were closed off in both directions. Then at about 9:15 in the evening, the LAPD declared a dispersal order for an unlawful assembly. Protesters could be seen clashing there with the LAPD by the federal building. Yesterday's demonstrations in downtown LA were part of a nationwide day of action against ICE. And here's more from some of the protesters yesterday in downtown LA.
You see what's going on in Minneapolis and what ICE is doing across the country. How do you feel?
I don't know how many times my wife and I have looked at clips of what's happening in Minneapolis and just break into tears. It's after the tears comes the anger. I'm furious.
There's some people that's not happy.
Oh, there are many people that are not happy. I mean, it's impossible to have everybody happy.
Correct. But there is 2 points there, right? And it's clarity on the news. So starting with, everybody has the right to protest. Everybody has the right to say the word. It's a free country, right? But when you cross the line between the law, right, and your ideals, that's a problem because you're disrespecting the law. So law enforcement is not going to react if something didn't happen. So what did actually happen that they clearly didn't tell in the video, right? Because only the narrative is saying on one side that they're the victims. But what caused the law enforcement to react to it? And I guarantee you they just didn't go hunting because of they just across the street and they see it and they hate.
You have an interesting point. The protest was declared unlawful by the LAPD, Los Angeles. And we know, folks, Los Angeles is not a Republican stronghold necessarily, right?
Yeah.
And the chief of police of Los Angeles is not a pro-Trump guy, and not even the mayor. Remember the mayor. So basically, they declared the protests unlawful. And the only batons and helmets I'm seeing there are the LAPD. I don't see any eyes. So
correct.
Your video is beautiful, nonetheless. Local.
Well,
we will have to see what happened.
Here's the thing. So these guys are, it's strength in numbers. So let's just be, truthful about what's happening here. There's a lot of people gathering there, and eventually, someone may say something or do something that is not pertaining to the goal, which is a peaceful protest, and then it gets out of hand, and then a riot starts.
Oh, we saw that many times.
Who's funding it?
So,
Who's funding all these people that come over and protest in all these places to movement? I mean, these guys have a lot of money because it's very expensive to move, shelter, and feed all these people.
I would love to protest, but I have to work.
Yeah.
right.
If you pay me to go there, I will go.
Right,
But I have to work. So basically, I can't.
Now, on the other hand, if I'm living on the government, right, and they give me $20,000 a year to, like, I mean, it happens to a lot of these young groups, especially in Europe. You can see that where teenagers are going to the age of, it's confusing, it's stressful, right? When you get into your teens to your 20s, trying to find out what you're going to do, the social pressure. And today, they just give you prescriptions, but even a better bet. They give you, hey, you know what? Here is $20,000 a year. You can spend it on playing PlayStation and smoking pot.
What you
and
mean?
a lot of them are doing that.
So
if you threaten that, right? If you threaten that future or that establishment, what would you do in that with that position?
That's a good question.
Well, me being originally from Argentina, I can tell you that that it was very common in Argentina. Many people didn't want to go to work because the public assistance or the welfare, if you want to call it, paid better.
Exactly.
So yeah, I saw it happening
And
in a couple of countries.
Europe is in it right now. I mean, I think that if we want to see our close future, right? Just take a look at what is happening in Europe.
Western Europe.
We were a boat away a year ago to be the next European country.
You're talking about Western Europe?
Yeah.
Spain, France, Great Britain.
All of them. Look at what's happening, where they lowered the defense, right? They stopped spending defense. I'm just gonna give you some figures, right?
Let's hear it.
Europe counts for 12% of the world population, 30% of the world's GDP, and 50% expenditures on the world on social services. So after 1990, they got very comfortable, and instead of spending in military, right, restructuring, they just wanted to put all the money on social services.
Oh yeah, that's a social democrat model.
And that is
It's
biting
forever.
back because they had no jobs. They went on the Greenpeace code, which is, it's BS, because you say we want to make everything green, but we're going to export it to India to be produced.
Outsource.
Well,
Outsource jobs.
it has to come back. So guess what? We want to reduce carbon print from 2 to 1.9, but in cause of that, it's costing us so much money.
You're talking about the 2030 plan.
It's bad business all over around. It's bad business when, hey, you know what? I'm an immigrant. America is the land of opportunity by all means, right? But we come here, we have to love our land. And if you're not, you're more than welcome to leave.
If you don't love it, leave it.
Yeah, it's simple as that.
But
Would you allow somebody in your house, Sapco, to come and generate your home and talk about you bad all the time?
No.
All right. Would you be in a relationship when your spouse comes and beats out of you, words, asking you for child support away, and give you the fight every single day?
Absolutely
what do you
not.
do? You break away, right?
Yeah, it's time
It's
for
the same
removal.
thing.
It's time for a removal. We have to change our scenario, our environment, and look for something better, of course. Right?
Well, certainly I don't want to be Western Europe. And when you talk about Europe, it's very simple. We pay them for their defense, so that's why they can do what they are doing.
And it comes back to you got a point, because everybody is talking about what's going on with Green and all these things. It's all about international law, right? That's what they call. But what is international law? Before the 1945, it didn't exist.
Well, there was an implicit code. The first approach to international law was the international treaties, the big powers. So we are talking about the 17th century.
But international law, international right, is among a group of people they all agree to something, right? And the consequence is muscle power.
You're talking about
Simple as that, right? If you live in a community, right, the law says there is consequences, right? And that law is backed by what? Muscle power. Get it?
Well,
so that can happen in a community, in a city, a state, on a federal level, country level, multi-country levels. So in 2021, what happens when 2020? What really happens is you gotta take a look at it, right? Leaving Iraq, right, was a clear message that we were weak. We told the world, yeah, we're weak.
Iraq?
We stopped being that dominance.
I'm talking about Afghanistan.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Afghanistan. Thank you.
Talking about Biden 2022,
Yeah, 2022, I think that's where they left. 2021, 2022. So that's one, right? Then follow the Russians attack Ukraine. What they're doing with that?
Well, it sounds like to me that they're all talking to each other and they're trying
No,
to create.
they sizing power.
Indeed.
They saying, okay, let me see what you can do. Oh, you cannot do anything about it.
Right.
All right. So, United States leave Afghanistan, leave all that army there. Iranians go fund October 7. Let's see what the Americans can do about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of nothing is happening. Too much blah blah blah. Nothing is happening. They can do it. So this international law is equivalent to that muscle, and now it's being rebuilt. And what the new government is doing is pretty much putting the foot on the ground and saying, you know what, this is our area. That's why they took Maduro out. It's a message, right? Same thing to Greenland. It's a message because in reality, take United States out of the equation. I'm sorry, Europe cannot defend themselves.
Well, this is why I think why BRICS was formed, right? These guys are trying to remove the American dollar from the equation so they can become the next superpower. Well,
But it's a bluff. Superpower, they don't have a military.
Do you realize that we went from ICE to the BRICS? We went all over the map.
Yeah.
I think that
So what you try to say is that everything is related to everything.
I think Trump is addressing all those areas that are trying to, gain ally, or try to form an ally against the United States. This is what I believe, right? All those countries that have formed those alliances,
Yep.
He has to address it so he can make sure that America stays strong.
Correct.
Okay, what you're talking about, it's redrawing the Monroe Doctrine, the President Monroe Doctrine that America is for Americans. That's what I think you're addressing with Venezuela and Maduro. And in certain aspect with Greenland. Greenland, this is the 5th time we try to take Greenland. 5th time, it's not the first.
A lot of resources up there.
But not just that. If you see the Russians, they have basically 4 fleets. The Arctic Fleet, which is in Polyarny, if you have to go to the Atlantic with the nuclear submarines, you have only 2 passages. One is between Iceland and Scotland, and the other is between Iceland and Greenland. He who controls the passages controls the Atlantic. That is one of the reasons, maybe the main reason. It's strategic. It's nothing new. That's why we took Greenland peacefully with the army during the Second World War. And that's why we took from Denmark the Virgin Islands in the First World War. Denmark has 2 options in the First World War. We buy the islands or we take them by force. Guess what they choose? They sold the island for $25 million. Really?
How much?
25 million of that time. We should adjust it by inflation. But basically, what I'm trying to say is strategic point of view. The second thing that I think Trump is asserting is the idea of the order after the Second World War. America as like the big police nation. And also about Europe. Europe is expending a lot of money, as you said, in social services, welfare, open borders, etc., etc., etc. And as he said, we are paying more than we should for the defense of Europe. Europe is on vacation, basically. And that is one of contentious topics, too. And the other topic is the one you brought, ICE, and immigration and the laws. Are we a country of laws, as Barack Obama said wisely, or are we a country of no laws? And if we have the chance to change the law twice, I mean twice because the party that proposed not totally open borders, but flexibility, had two opportunities to change the law. In the last 10 years, they didn't do it. So are we a country of laws, or are we not? And a final reminder, my friends, the president that most illegal aliens deported in history was Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Close to 3 million. I remember, and you can check it, Google me, no problem. Not me, but the news. There was a title in a newspaper that called Obama the chief deporter. Trump didn't even arrive to 20% of that yet. And we are rioting against ICE, which they did the same during Obama in Minneapolis too. Check it out too.
Because of the narrative. Again, you guys gotta go back to the narrative, right?
Narrative.
What are they trying to sell? Who's behind that, right? The opposition to the law, right? Because as a country, right, it's founded as a Christian country. The one thing is just obedience. Even though when we disagree, right, there is a purpose why we have somebody on top, and we believe from the First Amendment and everything that it's God's will, something for a blessing, something for correction.
Yeah, basically we have a constitution that is functional. We have a separation of powers. We have a Supreme Court. We have the Congress, and all those powers are working, right? So that takes to the dictator, no kings, right? So they say no kings.
And then we have the people that they need to be heard, right? So
Of course.
public officials definitely are dogging it, and they need to address it more. So what do we do about that? People are not happy. How do we talk about it? How do we bring everybody?
Well, again, you just gotta take a look at Europe. That's the picture, right? Trying to do with United States, right? Remember, we're a massive country, and we're massive. The country with more people, the more people that we have, the more powerful it is. A country that is with, let's say, I don't know, 4 million people, right, doesn't have much power that a country with 300 million people or 500 million.
But there is a question that, of course, all of you are asking.
Who's what?
Who's trying to change that? When you say they are trying to change, or they are trying to make us like Europe. Who?
The same people or narrative that they're being selling us, right? With the wokeism, with everything and everybody's equal, right? Trying to sell the modern socialism that Europe is living today, which because it creates division. And when it's division, right? What happens? Nothing gets coordinated and things start to implode. Which is, again, the same picture. You can see the future. Just look at Europe. They stopped doing that. Now they don't even invest on the military.
Their defense.
One of the big things is like when Russia attacked Ukraine, right? The Germans closed their what's it called?
They already closed
their nuclear
plants. Yes.
Their nuclear plants. They close them out. You know what they offer to them? We give you helmets. Okay, right? It's a joke. So,
but it's interesting because Germany is importing coal. They have to reactivate the coal plants because of the lack of natural gas coming from Russia, which they blocked themselves out of that, and they're importing coal from South Africa and India. Isn't that funny?
Correct. Now, they are exporting all these goods and treaties because they stopped working in Europe doing these things. and they brought it to two places, India and China. They are the ones to be watched for, because now they're acquiring power and they're rebuilding the military. And again, it comes back to people. Who has the most amount of people? China and India, right? It comes to that. Now,
I cannot agree with you on that.
India has more peaceful views of the world than China does, for sure, right? They're more economically approachable, per se. But you have to see this trend that it needs to stop, right? So we don't become the next Europe.
Right.
See, but that's about systems. Technology supersedes anything. It doesn't matter the population you have. It matters the system, the economic system you have, and the technology that you have to produce goods and services.
Right.
But you're talking about technology, and these are like first world countries, right? We're not talking about Bangladesh or, I don't know, like
Well, in
Haiti.
first world countries,
It's different.
How you control people is through information, right? This is why the media is
Yeah.
focusing on woke, movements and things like that.
And dividing it and creating hateful about the wealthy people. That's the other thing, right? Economically, it's very unwise to do that. So I'm going to give you an example. In England specifically, right? They have this hatred. They building this hatred about the wealthy,
Oh, yeah.
right?
I was in a
One-
country that was doing that for
All right.
4 years.
1% of the population pays 60% of the income taxes in England. 1%.
Right.
I'm gonna give an example. This guy, Rolly Vander, his name is Rolly. $100 billion company. Okay, they pay a year in taxes. He left. So in order now to recoup those loss in taxes, because he took his business out of England, they need 472,000 UK taxpayers paying the average, which is around 7,200 euros a year or pounds a year, right? Just to replace that income. It's like half of a city.
They better get to work.
So how is that smart? How is that smart?
Never.
You pissing off the people that create employment.
You are entering a discussion which is a different topic. What is moral, what is right, and what is practical and economically feasible, right?
Economically feasible. If they're capable of creating 472,000 jobs, and then hold on to it for a significant amount of time, well, you'll make the people very happy.
Hey, they didn't want to leave. They make them leave. Okay,
Well-
that's the thing. It's like, again, it could say narrative. You go home and somebody's criticizing you, bitching and moaning, right?
And raising your taxes and regulations.
And pushing you on your child support, because that's nothing else than child support, right? And put it on your face all the time. You get to a point that you're like, okay, I don't need to be here.
Of course.
Right.
You quit.
You're gonna leave.
And especially, you know when they move? That's funny. They move to America.
Oh,
Of course.
Because in America, we have a different perspective that they have in Europe. In Europe, they think they're rich, right? They're evil.
It's a bad word.
It's a bad word. Here, the rich, we empower. We want to learn from there. We also, appreciate it. And they get compensated for that.
We want to be
That's
them.
what makes America so great. Everyone in Europe, they want a social job. That's what they
So
want.
basically, what you're saying basically, because I lived through those periods in my former life before being an American, and basically you're saying that the problem is socialism, because this is nothing else but
somehow, yeah, I mean, it has to do
socialism
with
or
that.
pinkies, social democrats.
That's interesting. Socialism? Oh, that's a tough one, because everyone will have to be okay with just being, mediocre.
But we are not bees. That's a problem. Socialism is an ideology which is based on a utopia. Everybody's going to react the same way to the system, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, this for you folks, rich people don't pay taxes. You know that, right? But the thing is to understand why they don't pay taxes. Because whatever product or service they
don't pay
produce,
taxes, or they pay the most amount of tax.
they don't. It's a trick. It's a very old trick.
No, you're talking about IRS. They use IRS rules to, for example,
No,
okay,
I'm not
I can
talking about
donate
that. No.
$500 million or give it to the government in taxes. So I put the money back to work.
I'm not talking about that. When you are rich for a reason. In a capitalist society, in a free society, you're rich only because you provide goods and services of value, and the people buy those products or services. Yeah? If the government put more taxes on you, what you're going to do is simply raise the price of your service, raise the price of your product. So when people say tax the rich, or I remember, I don't know if you remember years ago, tax the oil companies, they are making a lot of money. Folks, you will pay that tax at the pump. You will pay that tax in the can. You will pay that tax. Do you think the companies, rich people, are going to pay their taxes? No, they just raise the prices, they take that money and they send it to the IRS. So it would be so nice if everybody understand for once that raising taxes only are going to increase the cost of your goods and services.
Yeah, the government doesn't produce anything.
Well,
Exactly.
the bottom line is that the business is being taxed anyway, right?
Yeah, but you were talking about that the rich doesn't pay taxes.
Exactly.
Well, they're taking loans out on their assets.
They transfer.
They take the risk.
They transfer the
Absolutely.
cost
But the
to the
business
consumer.
is the risk.
They transfer the cost to the consumer. We have to understand that. See, the experiment in Maryland, when they put the tax to the rich, they lost around, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, around 5 to 7% of the base tax, the taxable base in Maryland, because the people go with their money where they are best treated. People vote with their wallet.
Right.
That's why in Nevada we have so many people coming from California. People vote with their wallet. If you
No, I'm sorry. They bought it in California and they moved here. I call that hypocrisy.
well, that's a locus.
That's being a hypocrite. You go on board in California and you move to Nevada? Come on. Really?
Yeah, you
And turn it into
like the
California.
locust.
Yeah.
We don't like it here in Las Vegas. Texas, they did it in Texas, right? And now where they're moving next? I heard it's Tennessee.
Idaho,
No, they're moving in masses. Yeah, it's a move.
Tennessee,
But
Idaho, Kentucky, Florida.
Yeah, where it's a little bit cheaper, right? And so they're transitioning all these places into where they came from that they didn't want.
correct.
The point is that the companies that you want to tax to death don't pay taxes. You will pay for them. They declare
You
taxes, they send the money to the IRS, but the money was collected from you.
First and foremost, create a profitable business that cash flows that you can leverage.
Exactly, but also coming back to the Andres' point, they say, okay, once you tax the company translates the taxes into prices. But if you're victim of regulation, well, then you abandon the country. What they call the tax jurisdiction. Could be the city, the county, the state, or they just move to,
Oh yeah, well, Elon
Singapore.
Musk did it, right? He took Tesla out of California,
oh yeah,
right?
Yep.
Moved it straight away. He said, no. You're taking away from my bottom line. He wasn't having it. Smart man.
exactly. We all behave like capitalists. When you go to the supermarket, you take the cheapest product. Not the cheapest, the less pricey product, if you can. No, they do the same.
Indeed.
Indeed.
I agree.
Okay, what about the thing about tariffs?
All right. Let's talk about it.
I mean, why you want to talk about tariffs?
The new tax.
Oh, that's a good one. It is a tax.
The new tax on the people called tariff. All right.
It is the right thing to do.
Let's talk about it.
Well, it depends how you flip it, because technically speaking, a tariff, right, is a tax that is imposed to bring goods that people inland will end up paying that price for it. But it depends how it gets negotiated, because now with that tariff treaty, if I'm the importer, right, or the exporter per se, but if I move my plant to the United States, now I'm not paying that tariff, and I'm getting those subsidies and the expenses that I can pass to the public inland, then technically speaking, that tariff didn't happen. But it forced me as a company outside the nation to bring my business in. That generates more employment and drive production.
Exactly.
So you're in favor of tariffs?
Yeah, for some point.
What?
To some point. I mean, it has to be. Everything on extremes is bad.
Yeah.
Everything
So
on extremes
you're
is
a
bad.
moderate.
Well,
No, I think it has to be tactical.
exactly. So that's what I think.
And you
is
trust the
happening.
government to be tactical.
I think that right now, so far, they've been very tactical about it.
Okay. And what about you, Sam?
I think they're going to be a tactical business, right? Business mind. They have a lot of intelligent people in that area that are doing things. They're thinking 50 years ahead, right? They're thinking 100 years, well, more than 100 years ahead. So the tariff aspect is just something now that needs to be addressed, and then eventually later on down the road, decades from now, it's move out into something else that applies to what's happening in current events, or what they need to address when it comes to world dominance with other countries, if you will, on a financial scale. Because quite frankly, money makes the world go around, and that's just another.
That was a
example of
beautiful
warfare.
cabaret. Liza Minnelli and Joel Graham.
Right.
Money makes
Tariff
the
right now
world
is
go around.
no. I see tariff right now as the key or door opener to stabilize the reorganization of world power. That's exactly what it comes down to.
So for
So
you,
we're talking about
basically,
China, Russia, United States. Those are the big players.
so for you, tariffs are basically a political tool, diplomatic tool, military tool, if you want.
It's an economic tool that is being enforced for political reasons to establish dominance and power.
Okay.
Indeed.
Okay. And for you?
Absolutely. What the man said.
So both of you. Okay. For me, tariffs are a moral thing, because the question is free market or not,
Free market.
free trade or
Yeah,
no.
it's still a free trade because free trade is a choice. It's a choice
Tell me.
that you have. So, for example, I can choose to have, let's say, a flower planted on, I don't know, Florida, per se, right? Let's go, no,
started
South
another
Carolina,
bubble?
right?
Started another
South
bubble
Carolina,
with
they have some
flower.
nice flowers, right? It will cost me $1, but I can have a very exotic flower that will cost me $10
Right.
that I brought from Ecuador or Colombia.
Right.
Well, might be kind of like the same type of flower, but this one is more exotic. Well, if I choose, I will pay that price. If I don't, it's a choice.
But you're talking about free market. What happened
Because it's the
in
market on the
your
demand.
example?
It's a demand.
In your example, let's say that there is a tariff of 50% on anything or flowers imported from Colombia.
Okay.
Do you think that is fair?
Depends what you call fair.
Tell me.
It's
you.
capitalism. Capitalism is never fair.
But
It's just economical, political reasons. One goes at the hand of the other.
I just established that tariffs don't work. They do not.
That's your opinion, and I have my opinion, right? It comes back to the opinions.
In the next podcast, I can bring you dozens of numbers. If tariff would be the source of being rich, Argentina, where I come originally from, would be the richest country in the world because the country was closed to any import since 1983, if I'm not wrong, to 89.
Yeah, but
You know how we finished
Argentina
that?
was the Cuba of South America.
No,
That's
I'm
different. It was
sorry.
run by
Argentina was
socialists.
the seventh economy of the world by 1920.
But you just say it right. It
And
was.
what it came to being the 80th economy, it was tariffs and regulations, taxation, and government intervention. That toppled down the Argentine economy in less than 7 years. From being the seventh,
What kind of government?
the second.
But
the
what kind of government,
second-
though?
The second best salary in the world.
What kind of government?
What kind of government you mean?
Yeah.
What? Interventionist.
Socialist.
Pro-tariff.
It's a socialist.
See, that's what
Yes,
you're
it is.
proposing.
No, I'm not pro-
Interventionist, pro-tariff. Interventionist, pro-tariff.
I'm not going to socialist. You
Pro-regulations.
see, you're changing the narrative now, and you're going to completely socialist level.
No, I'm going
right?
to tariffs. Tariffs do not work. You ask me why
But
I
you're
answer.
saying now you're comparing tariffs with being socialist. That's what you're resembling right now.
No,
and
no,
it's
no,
not.
no, no, no. You ask me what kind of governments. you
United
told
States use
socialist.
tariffs.
I enumerate what makes countries fail. See, Argentina is one case, Brazil is another case, Colombia, you have another case.
Golden age of
Cuba,
United
you have another
States.
case. Mexico. Mexico is a rich country that was after. What was the president of Mexico before Madero?
So Ed,
Wow.
let me rephrase this.
Tariffs.
So tariffs works on the economic value, right, of the people who run it, right, with good moral values. Now,
People don't have moral values.
that's the thing, and that's why
They sold
their
their mother
wait.
for
That's why
$10.
countries like Argentina, right, fell through it because people who run it think like you think, and that's where that goes down.
The system is the system. Capitalist, being not perfect, is the best system known to men.
So
Only
why did it work?
because-
Why
only
did it work
because-
in the 1918 to 1929? Why did it work?
19 when?
1918 to 1929. Why did it work?
It didn't work.
It worked
What did work?
so well
What did
that
work?
American tariffs worked so
you
well
think.
that Americans' families went to living in a square,
You're
in a
forgetting-
bunker,
you're forgetting
to
the-
having
The depression,
bedrooms.
the depression, you're forgetting it.
3 bedrooms, right? Laundry machines. It didn't exist before, right? But that thing pushed to that side.
The tariffs.
And again, yeah, depression came later on. But there was all these things that were established that caused depression. But mathematically, it did work.
It didn't.
And it helped
You're confusing
build.
tariffs with Europe coming up out of the First World War. Their economies destroyed, heavily indebted. America was a clear winner. Not only the winner.
Absolutely.
There were many winners, but America was the main winner. You're confusing that with tariffs because the tariffs, they start in the president prior to Roosevelt. What was the name of the guy?
Roosevelt.
Yeah, they passed the Tariff Act, and that was the prelude to the Great Depression that lasted from 1929 until 1937 or so. So tariffs are not the solution. Tariff didn't make America grow.
Again, it helps. I don't think it's the access to an economy, no. But it helps, especially to restructure, right? And help rebuild a strong economy.
If you're talking about the tariffs as a political tool, I understand. If you're talking about tariffs as a pressure tool,
No,
I
not
understand.
political tool because we're not trying to get favors or precedents. We're talking about bringing the
Political,
economy
about
back in,
the handling of the public affairs. That's what I'm.
and economic affairs internally.
Economically doesn't work. It's a prejudice of the consumer. Yeah. For example, it's a great discussion about, for example, Walmart. You brought Walmart. Herbert Hoover. Yeah.
Hoover.
The Congress passed the Tariff Act, Hoover, just before Roosevelt. And that was awful. That created the Great Depression, basically, because there were countermeasures enacted by Europe. Now, if you're talking about Walmart, many people said that Walmart is a beast because it kills mom and pop business, right?
Some others say that.
So a way of tariff, in a way, municipalities, I've been in a session many years ago in California, in a municipality. I will not mention it. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And they were forbidding Walmart to be in their boundaries because they were killing mom and pop business. And one guy said something very smart that stays until me. They say, why you blame Walmart? We are killing mom and pop business because we walk into the wall.
Correct. It's a
With
choice.
Our free will, we choose less expensive goods and services. And that's the way we are taking mom and pop business. So basically this council, the city council, benefit mom and pop businesses, some people, against the full population of the city. And you can take that to the county, to the state. So doesn't benefit the consumer. The consumer, the poor,
What doesn't benefit the consumer?
because they make things
No,
more
what
expensive.
doesn't benefit the consumer?
Because they make things more expensive.
Who? It's mom and
Tariffs.
pops or
Tariffs.
Walmart?
I prefer the full population.
No.
and not
You were
just a
talking
little
about
sector.
Walmart and mom and pop.
Yes,
What doesn't benefit the consumer? Mom and pop or Walmart?
mom and pop are more expensive, so the consumer choose Walmart. As a consequence of which, mom and pop close their business. That was the argument. That solution is the government intervention. Don't let Walmart establish in this place. So what people did finally was driving to the next city, still to Walmart, and mom and pop still got out of business. Those are the beautiful feel-good laws.
Well, people are going to find a way, no matter what. I mean, gas prices are high.
Freedom
They're gonna go
always
to
find a way.
a little patch somewhere down the road there and find a better price.
Correct. So, many different opinions. Tell us what you think, right? Give us click below,
Venezuela.
and we will see you next week. Stay tuned.
Take care.
Awesome. 12:15 anyway.